Hey guys, how's it going? Really, one of our first live streams. Just wanted to kind of go over some of the questions we've been putting out there. Um, basically, recently, yesterday we asked, what would you like to see more of? More, uh, field research, or true encounter stories, that type of thing. Really kind of came to the point where there's almost a 50-50 split. It's pretty interesting. So just wanted to kind of chat about that a little bit and see, go ahead and just place it down in the comments here, or in the chat window. Those that, maybe have some reasonings to see more field research. Or, I know some people are already saying that the encounter stories are just seem a little easier to digest, I guess you could say. So that was a pretty interesting comment as well. So, yeah, we're just trying to get a feel for what direction to kind of take the channel in general, uh, moving forward. And, we're going to try and do more of the narration, different types of narration too, and just trying to get better in that regard as well. Um, some of the other questions have been, previous weeks, how tall do you think, Bigfoot is? Sasquatch, do you think he's over, uh, between 7 and 8 or over 8 feet tall? And that was fairly interesting mix too. Trying to add some of that. I think end of the day, most people thought he was between 7 and 8 foot tall. Was the When the poll ended, that's where most people thought he or she is height wise. So no real shocker there. I think everybody pretty much knew that one. Um, and Yeah, some of the previous weeks polls were um, pretty interesting as well. But that's what we'll try and do on our live streams moving forward is kind of talk about some of the polls we've had, some of the questions we've had, um, possibly some of even the encounter stories, such as the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch one that came out yesterday, which really talked about both Colorado and Utah encounters. Um, and then moving forward, we're looking forward to Idaho, possibly some up as we kind of circle back towards the Pacific Northwest, Washington as well. There's just there's a ton of stories there, and eventually kind of work our way back up into Canada. And it's been a few years. Those of you that maybe have just joined us, welcome. Thanks for subscribing. Um, we do also, cover international, global type, although most of them have been really just Canada, and not too far overseas, really not any yet. I would like to do that eventually, but just trying to make sure we cover all bases. And yeah, I do have an interesting encounter story that just came in last week that we're hoping to actually uh, bring to you very soon in our interview and style, again, similar to the John uh, Bigfoot interview. Another um, similar type episode where um, just a quick preview of that one. He was out camping, actually in the Southern California region, and actually saw, you know, claiming to be a very tall Bigfoot. So we're looking forward to getting that one in and bringing it to everybody. And so, yeah, just we're gonna, I think, try and do a Wednesday live. Let me know if anybody out there, how you guys feel about a Wednesday live moving forward. Is that a good day? Put it in the comments below. I'd love to hear that as well. Um, but yeah, again, some of the other encounters that we're moving forward, trying to build them as uh, into a playlist. So yeah, Washington will obviously be a playlist, and then some of the ones we've done recently are also in a playlist. So it just makes it easier to go back and reference them. And if you do like a particular encounter story, please let us know that as well, and we'll try and earmark those for possibly an area that we actually do on the ground encounter. Um, as we kind of build the teams out. If you are interested on in becoming a team member and wanting to do field research or that type of thing, please let us know. Go ahead and just either email us separately, or you could leave it in the comments. We'll get a hold of you, that type of thing. We're constantly looking to expand in that regard. So yeah, anybody interested in getting involved with it all, love to have you on board for things like that too. Um, yeah, speaking of the John encounter, it's starting to look like he actually might come on board in more of a full time basis, or really full time research ability. So we're looking forward to bringing him on board. And then possibly, we might be able to actually get to at least one field research a month. Recently, it's only been maybe one every few months, and we'd like to kind of basically do more of those. Again, anybody new to the channel, uh, in case you didn't know, we do research. We'll follow up our research area based on live or actual encounter stories that are, we try and do class A, we call them class alpha encounters. We try and follow up with on the ground research as much as we can afford to, really, or, have the time to. And many times, it really does produce the best results. Of course, we're, really hoping to catch, the big guy on uh, film. That's the end goal. But so we try and follow up where there's known sighting locations, and we're able to actually, um, get to those areas and have a better chance of, catching Sasquatch on film. So that's been our kind of our philosophy for probably the last 3 years, anyways, running. And at a minimum, it keeps it interesting. I think it kind of keeps it interesting for the viewers. And put it down in the chat below. If what you like to see us maybe do a little differently in that regard. What states maybe you'd like for us to expand to. Or maybe you actually do have an encounter story yourself that you'd like to include. This all started really for us. My encounter was actually doing a follow up investigation into a known, wasn't necessarily a BFRO, but there was BFRO sighting locations in the area. Mine was actually really a Class B encounter. Was out in a national forest area where actually was near a water source. Actually had seen a deer about 5 minutes prior to, kind of scouted around the area, got a wood knock, and about 5 minutes after that, started getting basically hit with some infrasound, which some people, if you accept it or not, it can be pretty strange. The camera, the only way I really knew it having the camera was basically uncontrollable, which was really weird. I have a kind of a fair amount of shake. when I hold the camera anyhow, but it really became to a point where um, it couldn't focus. It was almost jittery, if you will. I guess maybe kind of like this. That's probably not the best thing to do live, but anyhow, yeah, that's essentially what happened. And then probably about 5 minutes after that, was kind of heading back down to the water source. Kind of take a second look. It was a water source, then a hill, um, and got it. I mean, it was an acorn throw, which sounds kind of funny, but the acorn. I mean, it landed. My vehicle's nearby. It landed directly on top of it, and through trees, which seems kind of odd, and it could have been possibly actually from the tree, but you could hear it as if it came through the tree line, and it was pretty strange. So that really was my first encounter. I suspect that where I heard the tree knock, although it's kind of hard when you hear kind of just one uh, knock to tell where it is. I think that's a lot of what times they'll do a triangular uh, you know series of knocks to locate themselves. But from a single knock, I suspect he was kind of up on the hill, if you will, and he essentially um, uh, was covering the lower area. And basically, what I did, uh, I took a kind of a walk up towards the hill, trying to yeah, try and keep the camera going as much as possible. People probably know that from the last one. We, kind of use multiple cameras, try and keep it rolling. Try and always go out in the field with these multiple people for, multiple, many reasons, safety reasons mainly. But I think in this case, with my encounter, he was definitely on the high ground. Um, and he was covering basically, deer, game coming down to drink water. And I suspect that I was kind of messing up his hunt, essentially. Um, yeah, and really no one in the area. There were a few campers possibly up higher. It could have possibly been human. They could have possibly been out on the ridge line, or somebody hiking around out there. Not very likely. There's actually been a class alpha sighting more recently in that area, which was actually a BFRO um, encounter story that came in. So we suspect what's happening within that story. Actually, Matt Moneymaker made quite a um, lengthy explanation of why and kind of how Sasquatch will run from the lower elevations to the upper elevations, and kind of a more of a seasonal reasoning, I guess you could say. Pretty detailed. And we'll include the link from that when we actually do that one. And, I'll mention it again as we get closer, as we kind of circle around to that one. But yeah, that's what all started it for me. Yeah, of course, I was like everybody else watching Finding Bigfoot. Uh, John, actually, one of our team members, he had an encounter uh, way back when, and that was another reason that he's been a huge part of that channel that we kind of got started too. Really, his encounter, and those are he recently. It's probably about 2 or 3 episodes back, and I can include it in the links below, um, where he had an encounter basically while camping. He was pretty young when it all happened. It was near a seaside town, heavily forested. But that's where a lot of his actually, that's where his I guess, encounter, his believability started. Um, but yeah, again, we're looking to have him on almost on a full-time basis. Really is kind of like a follow-up, researcher, if you will, investigator, that type of thing. So we're looking forward to that, and that'll help us, maybe produce some of these stories a little quicker for you guys too. So anyhow, it's about 15 minutes in. Again, leave any comments. Appreciate you guys coming online. We'll try and do these on Wednesdays, and really looking forward to it. We'll keep on squatching. You guys keep on watching, and appreciate every one of you. Have a great day.